Good morning, everybody out there. Hope you're doing well today. It is the Well Overflow podcast, episode 54.
54.
That's right. Here we are. My name is Andy Ferguson. Sitting next to me, Pastor Jeff Waterman.
Hello, Andy. How are you today?
Pretty good. Pretty darn good. How about you today?
Doing well. At the time of recording this, it's sunny and it's kind of warm.
Oh, my goodness. I actually checked because I went out there and it wasn't, the weather was not biting my skin. It's 41 degrees.
So I took my my grandson to the bus stop today to help my son and daughter-in-law. Okay. And he was on the Spring Hill retreat with us when it was minus 21 when we went to play broom ball outside. So he gets out of the car today and I'm like, put your coat on. He's like, it's not even cold out here. And it was like right. 21 degrees. Like, this isn't even cold. This is a kid that was from North Carolina that they would come up and it would be like 40 and they'd be freezing, right? So now he's like, 20 is not even cold.
That's I'm so proud of you. 40-degree spread. Exactly, right? So this is today a 60-degree spread from that negative 20 you had.
Kidding. We're going to be in shorts and a t-shirt.
And it honestly, it's like, that's what it's been like. I saw earlier, I don't want to mention their name, but a kid out there with just, open jacket, just a shirt on and like, it's really nice. It feels so life-giving.
It's always funny in Michigan to see what happens like when the days start actually being 40, 50 degrees. Mm-hmm. Like everybody comes outside.
Yeah.
Because we've been all cooped up all winter long. So maybe spring will come in a little bit. I know Punxsutawney told us it was going to be a ways out, but maybe he's wrong.
Yeah, I think that is the magic. One of the benefits of having a harsh winter or a long winter is that it really does. It makes the spring feel just so much better. And
right.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, thank God for the seasons. So here we are. We are overflowing from our Sunday sermon, and the previous Sunday was February 8th. We are still in our Kingdom Picks sermon series, which is basically diving into the different parables that Jesus speaks about in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and they're all of the parables. So the Kingdom of Heaven is like, and then we get to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, trying to create or paint a picture of something that we can't understand, right? We can't fully grasp the kingdom. So Jesus tries to give us little bits and pieces to try to make up what this kingdom looks like.
That's right. So our Sunday service, this past Sunday, it was titled A Bold Kingdom. And we were hanging out in Mark 4, 21 through 29. So the past couple weeks, we've been in Matthew, like that Matthew 13 area. How come we were in Mark this week?
Well, because Matthew 13, Matthew, Mark, Luke, they're synoptic gospels, right? So they cover a lot of the same material. But every now and again, one of those authors will insert a special nugget for you. And Mark does that here. In Matthew 13, we talked about the parable of the sower, why the parables, parable of the mustard seed, and those things are also Matthew 13. But here, Mark gives us two bonus parables.
That's right.
And they are the parable of the lamp under a basket and the parable of a growing seed.
Yeah. And in fact, these parables might have been given just to the apostles.
Might have.
Because it seems like, for the previous ones, Jesus was like standing on the edge of the sea, and that was the parable of the sower. But then he kind of reclines. He goes back, recluses, I guess, with his apostles, his disciples at that time. And it says, when he was alone, those around him, the 12, asked him about these parables. So then we don't know, of course, the time frame, chronology of when it says, and then he said to them, right? So how long later? I don't know.
And who's the them?
Right. Exactly.
I think it's either way, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
There was the purpose of the parables was a parenthetical statement, section, or it was just, and he said to them, and he said to them. So maybe he was just talking to his disciples.
Could be.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. But we get to see it today.
Yeah,
He's
pretty neat.
to us.
Two different parables that we focused on, a lamp that is under a basket and also of a seed that is growing.
Not just a lamp.
It is the lamp.
The lamp.
Yeah. As we got into the Greek,
we Greeked out a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that, and it was a little baffling to me that all of our, we read out of the ESV primarily, and they use a lamp when clearly the definite article is in the Greek text. And so, why do we say a lamp? I think it's yes, to make it consistent with the other ones, more synoptic. But at the same time, it appears to me that Mark is drilling down on his Christological approach and just really trying to emphasize that the lamp is Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So there is a lamp that shines the true light. And like we said, it is the lamp that shines the true light.
Yeah, what we took was that this lamp, it's not just any lamp, it is the lamp. It is thy word is a lamp unto my feet, right?
Yeah.
So the word is being connected to the lamp. And then in John 1, we're told that word, that God's word is Jesus, that Jesus is the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God. And so it's not a large biblical leap to say the lamp that we're talking about here is Christ.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I mean, he is the light, and the light came into the world, and the light overcomes the darkness. The whole thing. Yep. And so thy lamp is or thy word is a lamp unto my feet. Was that from Psalm 119? I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. And in fact, Cody Carnes has that song that's called "I'll Take You at Your Word," and it's based on that right there. Your word is a lamp unto my feet. I love that whole psalm. I think it's the longest psalm of all of them, 119.
Could be.
I think so.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, I like that. That's very good. So yeah, Jesus came into this world not to be hidden, and his message is not to be hidden. And that's kind of where we take that with being a bold member of the kingdom.
Yeah, we one of the things that comes out of this that maybe we didn't dive into as much on Sunday. I know we like to try to get some extra stuff for Overflow, right? And that is, it's interesting that he says there's this basket, and the word there for basket means a measuring basket. It's literally something to measure with, which is why he goes into, what you measure with is what's measured to you. But, we often suppress. There's things in our life that we do that suppress, or don't do, that we suppress Christ's light in our life.
Quenching the spirit.
Right. Yeah. Paul calls it quenching the spirit in 1 Thessalonians, right? It's this idea that we can do some things that don't allow us to experience life with our Savior the way he intended it for us.
Yeah.
It can be anything from emphasis on a job, like, I'm not going to put enough into church or to my relationship with the Lord or whatever, because I've got, I work 1 million hours a week. I just don't have time. Right. Or maybe it's other activities that we have, as a dad with 3 kids who all played travel sports back in the day. Right. I mean, it was always a balancing act of, how busy can our kids be?
Yeah.
And when does it start really affecting their relationship with their Lord, with Christ, with the family, and all those things? Because we're too busy busting all over the place, get them to the games and the practices and all of that. And, there's just a lot those are bushel baskets. Those are measuring baskets, peck measures that tend to dampen our relationship with the Lord, right? They get in the way.
What you're speaking on is a basic fundamental biblical principle, is that you will reap what you sow.
Right. Which is really what the measure to which you bring is a measure that is going to be given to you.
Yeah.
Is, if I put the bare minimum into this relationship I have with Christ, that abundant life that he promises isn't going to be realized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so true. And I mean, the idea here is it's a law, basically, that God has instilled into our world, where the thing that you put your time into, the thing you put your energy into, the thing that you put your passion into, the thing you're thinking about all the time, that's the thing that's going to be growing and magnifying in your life. The more you practice soccer, you're going to get better at soccer, hopefully, right? Yeah. Or if you want to become better at drawing, if you want, or I love this is actually the best analogy that you had in terms of our relationship with God. You were talking about your relationship with your wife, and you just celebrated 38 years. Ooh, congratulations. Yeah. That's a long time. But if you were not intentional, then your relationship would not have born the fruit that it did.
Yeah. I always say to people, when you go on wedding day and you say, I do.
Yeah.
Is that the culmination or the beginning of your relationship?
The beginning.
It's the beginning, right? It's that next step. Like, all right, we're doing this for life. Now, if you don't guard that, if you don't do the things, like if all of a sudden I don't come home at night, if all of a sudden I'm off doing other things, it doesn't even need to be affairs with women. It could just be I'm working too much, or I'm doing too much with the guys, or I'm not pouring into the relationship with Kathy that I should. Then guess what? A, it's not going to last 38 years. It might last 38 months or 38 days or whatever, but it's not going to last 38 years. And then even if it does, it's going to be so unfulfilling. And I don't know, maybe you've met people that have been married a long time, and you often ask, so why are they still married?
Yeah.
Like their relationship isn't such that, man, they're just life bursting out from them. It just feels like they're just kind of going through the drudgery of life. And that's not what marriage is supposed to be.
Yeah. Is there momentum there, or is it just maintenance?
Right. I've heard people say, well, the only reason I'm staying married is for my kids, right? Which is great. But at the same time, don't you want a little bit more out of your marriage? Like,
Right.
like be intentional. The measure to which you come to it is the measure to which it'll be brought to you. And the thing that he says here that's really scary is, even if you had little, it's going to be taken from you.
Yep. Yeah, this is the one difference that is very specific to be intentional reading here, or to at least call out. When it comes to the fruit of the Spirit, when it comes to your relationship with God and the kingdom of heaven, these properties here, there's like a double blessing that happens, because the follow-up is verse 25. So again, we're in Mark 4, if any of you are out there listening, and we have verse 24, which says, and he said to them, right, pay attention to what you hear. So again, this is from God. He's like, pay attention to what I'm about to say to you. Okay, then we're all ears, right? With the measure you use, it will be measured to you. And then here we go, and still more will be added to you. That's like the double blessing part. So if you are pressing into your relationship with God, if you actually are intentional and have the discipline to sit and spend time abiding, oh my goodness, you're going to be bearing more and more fruit, and such a blessing. So like God wills that for your life so much that he's going to say, yeah, I see you trying. I see you putting the practice in. I see you, the intentions of your heart, which he can read. I'm going to bless that so much more. And so, yeah, if you're seeking for wisdom and you're actually practical about going to God for wisdom, he's going to give it to you in abundance. If you're seeking for life, if you're seeking for joy, all these things, he's going to actually fulfill those things, but do so in abundance even more so.
Yeah, he's going to keep piling on. Seeking you will find. Knocking the door will be open to you. It's not that he's like holding back, but he's, if you go through, and that's why I believe he talks about the seed, the growing seed. The farmer goes through the process.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden things start to grow. And he's not quite sure how it happened. But it did, because why? He went through the process. And I've seen so many people, they've said to me, I tried the church thing.
All right there, you have the key indicator.
Right?
Right.
I tried the church thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, you just don't get it. Right? And I said this to our team beforehand. I didn't use it in the worship service, but I heard an interview with George Burns. And I don't...
We talked about him on Sunday, but I wasn't one of the number that knew of him.
Yeah. So George Burns was a radio actor back when we didn't have TV. You know, remember?
What?
Yeah. There's a time
Right.
where we didn't have TV, and so all your dramas came through like radio. You'd go and you listen to a radio show, and he and Gracie Allen were a dynamic duo, right? They had all these TV or radio shows, and then he became an actor too. He did. Oh God, with John Denver, a movie where he played God. So George Burns, a short little old guy playing God. It was kind of funny, but he lived to like little over 100 years old, and he was the picture you always saw him. He had a cigar,
Okay.
and an alcoholic beverage. I believe it was bourbon. And they asked him, hey George, what's the secret to life? And he said in his kind of gruffy voice, like, a cigar and a bourbon every day. And the lady, I think it was a lady, asked him, well, what would you say to somebody who lost a loved one that did that? What would you say to them? Well, they didn't do it long enough.
Right,
It's just kind of funny, right? But part of it is when people jump in and they want this fast, like, Jesus is going to come rock my world. Now, understand Jesus comes, rocks your world, and he can change everything in a snap. more often than not, what the Bible tells us is there's this light that clicks on, but then there's a lifelong process of growth. And if you think you're going to jump in and in 2 months or 3 months, all of a sudden your entire life is going to flip upside down and everything in life is going to be fantastic, that's just not the way it works. That's why Jesus says, you can judge a tree by its fruit.
Right.
Now, how long does it take for a tree to actually bear fruit?
It's not the day that the seed is planted.
And sometimes it's not even the first year.
That's true too.
Like
Yeah.
some trees, it takes some multiple years to actually bear fruit.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time. That's why when I hear a celebrity that comes to Christ or something, and everybody's all excited, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let me see how this pans out. And they're like, aren't you excited? I'm like, I am. I really am, and I hope it's actual true. But I want to see what's down the road. Is there longevity? Is there a life trajectory switch, or is it just hey, I need to change something right now?
Yep. Absolutely. Paul talks about it being a marathon,
Right.
which is not a fast race.
No, not at all. It's a long, slow process.
Exactly. And for those who are running marathons, if you get distracted or if you stop running or if you veer off course and you go to a different path, you don't finish the marathon.
Right.
You don't finish that race.
Yeah, and so many people I've seen, they have that emotional conversion, right? I think one of the problems with the U.S. is we've gone to conversion Christianity, which is how can I make converts? And we've gone away from discipleship Christianity, which is, hey, I'm less concerned about your conversion. I'm more concerned about your life trajectory, right? Your discipleship. And we've gone to say the prayer, come to the event, say the prayer, get baptized, and life will be good. And that's just not the picture that Jesus paints.
Right. Yeah, that's the beginning of the picture, really.
Right. It's
that's
the wedding day.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what this is doing is really putting a lot of responsibility on each Christian, each congregation member, whereas some people come to church and they feel like all of the responsibility is on the teacher or the pastor.
Sure. Yeah, I think a lot of times we view church as and churches, I think, feed into this. We view the church as the supplier or the purveyor of religious goods and services.
Yeah.
And if we don't like what this franchise of the church does, I'll go to the next franchise, right?
Yeah.
If I don't like what Qdoba's flavors are like, I'll go to Chipotle, right?
Yeah.
And just find a different burrito. And so here Jesus is saying, you have to bring the measure. You have to understand what you're doing to dampen Christ's light in you and through you. And you have to bring the long-term investment, intentional work into this. And then, man, it's going to be added to you in ways you can't even understand. If you don't, even what you had at the beginning, that's going to be taken away. Because here's the picture. You plant, and you bury, and you water, and God makes it grow in ways you don't even know how.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love how God just continuously, with what he's saying through his word, he also displays it in nature. And so we're without excuse, really. We have many different ways and facets of ways to understand what he's saying here as we watch the seasons change. I mean, It's not like a season changes immediately. No. And there are times when, sure, an amazing thing happens, like you mentioned about a born again moment where, a light switch goes off and yes, okay, the scales are removed from your eyes. And that might be, for example, winter and then spring immediately hits. But then there's still a long time before fruit is then produced and so on and so forth. Incredible. So you did mention a little bit about standards of living here. And there's one standard that actually is the standard to judge things by. It's not just this opinionated thing. I love specifically how you brought in about our Winter Olympics that are going on currently. With the the ice dancing, as you called it.
Those people are amazing.
Yeah, figure skating. They're incredible.
I mean, two people are they're spinning around on ice skates.
Yeah.
Kathy and I have a hard enough time dancing on our feet, let alone with ice skates. We'll be tripping all over each other.
Yep.
Yeah, so he uses the word measure here, and the basket that gets used that he's talking about earlier that covers the lamp is a measuring basket. It's a standard. This is what it is. And Jesus sets the standard. It's not, well, what does this person think? What does this speaker think? What does this politician think? Or what does this news anchor think? Or what does my friend think? At
Yeah.
some level, I don't care. What does Christ say? Because he's the standard. Now, if you and Jesus are consistent, maybe I should listen. If you and Jesus are different, then I should listen to Jesus.
Yeah, well, that pretty much is it right there. All of the authority in terms of the manual of life, it's right there in this
Right.
book, and yeah, absolutely. I actually I heard a sermon just the other day, and the gentleman was talking about the usage of a microwave. And have
Okay.
you ever tried to accidentally, perhaps, I would say yes, accidentally put a fork in the microwave? Like, it is not made for metal. That's
It
the whole thing.
it pops and yeah.
Oh, it's terrifying. Yeah.
Right.
No, I haven't done it in our house, by the way.
But you know what's interesting? My microwave has a metal rack in it.
How does that work?
I don't know. It's got rubber feet on it or something.
Sure.
I don't know.
Right, but I'll tell you, accidentally put some aluminum foil in a microwave or a fork or something like that, and you will know immediately that its function is not meant for that. You look in the owner's manual, and it says, do not put metal in this thing. And if you do, it doesn't function appropriately. Now, humans, we have an owner's manual right here.
Right.
And if you are operating outside of the prescripted owner's manual, you're not gonna work properly.
You're not going to experience the life that he wants for you.
Right.
It's just not. And you can suppress it all you want. You
Yeah.
can say, well, I'm going to try to do my own thing, and I don't think he was serious about that. This was 2,000 years ago. Certainly,
Yep.
we know better now. No,
Right.
you don't. Right. So, yeah, the measure or the standard with which you bring that you come to the table with, that's going to be what's measured to you. That, if you want to worry about what man's standard is and what this is, and that's what you're going to focus, that's going to be given to you. You're going to fight for your income level. You're going to fight for your material level. You're going to fight for your prominence level. You're going to fight for all of that. Or you can just do what God's saying you do and let him handle all of it.
Yep, absolutely. So to bring this episode to a close, we're saying just like as you see a seed grow and produce a leaf, and then the stalk, and then finally an ear of corn or whatever comes eventually down the way, and then you harvest the fruit, we're saying that growth is a gradual moving to completion. And so then the responsibility is on each of us as Christians to engage in that process, actively trusting and engaging in the process with the right standard of living, and you will bear fruit.
Absolutely. It was, back to Kathy and I, Friday night, we were just at the end of that, or no, I'm sorry, it was Saturday. Friday was our anniversary, but we took the grandkids skiing because they had a snow day. And then so we kicked our thing off to Saturday, and we're just sitting there at the end of the day talking, and just, at those times you kind of recount, right? You kind of review and you reflect on life. And we looked at each other and went, how in the heck did we end up like this in a good way? Like,
Yeah.
we are so blessed. We are so fortunate. We have had so many amazing experiences. Our family is absolutely amazing. And we're like, how did we get here? And then I'm reading this and I'm going, that's it. It wasn't any one thing. It was a bunch. It was just engaging intentionally in the process that God has for us. And man, we looked and went, yep, it has been given to us even more.
That's great. Yeah.
Even more.
So set your eyes on things above, not on the things of this world, and run the race that is set before you. May it be well with you. How about that?
Yeah, it's really simple. It's just very hard to do.
Yeah, from time to time. Yeah. So engage in prayer, right?
Yeah.
And awesome. Well, I hope that this episode has been fruitful for you guys and inspires you to think further on some of these things. Obviously, you can read through more Mark here. We're looking forward to our upcoming Sunday sermon that is going to be on the 15th of February, titled "A Practical Kingdom." Hey, what a nice outflow from the boldness that we've just been talking about. We're going to be landing in a Good Samaritan. That parable.
Very practical.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was at a play at Meadowbrook Theater, and it was a play about a family having to deal with a child that had some significant needs. And the mom came over and said, well, my small group's praying for you. And the dad says, maybe it's time to stop praying and start doing. And man, did that hit, hey, how practical are we in bringing this kingdom to the world around us? The Good Samaritan was very practical.
Absolutely. A little more practical out there, if you guys would like to practically share this podcast a little further and get a broader reach. If you would like this video, that would really help, or subscribe to our channel as well.
Absolutely.
That also helps push it out a little further.
Absolutely.
Yep. So thanks so much for listening, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. This has been episode 54 in the books. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a fantastic day.